It's time for a little Mavericks mailbag here on Dallas Mavericks Today. Harrison Graham, Jeffrey Cooperstein. If you want to be featured in a future mailbag episode, hashtag Mavs, drop those questions in the comments. Coop, we got Connor Rankins first, asking about Markieff Morris signed a non-guaranteed deal. Does this mean he is competing for a roster spot?
I don't think that's what it means. So he had to sign a non-guaranteed deal because the Mavericks are like $490,000 below the second apron, which means they could only sign him to a non-guaranteed deal. Had they signed him to a guaranteed deal, it would have put him up into the second apron and given them a bunch of different restrictions and whatnot, which the Mavs obviously want to avoid. So he's going to go into the season playing on a non-guaranteed contract, which just means they're paying him week to week. He's still making the veteran minimum. It's just not all guaranteed until January 8th or whatever the deadline for that is. So he's going to be the 15th guy on the roster, and I still think that the Mavs are going to cut A.J. Lawson. I guess you could say it technically opens the door for Lawson to blow them away and show that he really made incredible strides in the offseason, but to me, this just was a cap maneuver that they had to complete for them to stay under the second apron.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the majority of this. I think also they like Lawson enough to keep him in training camp, so instead of cutting him now, they want to keep him around as well. And look, we'll see what happens. I mean, a guy could get injured, like a million things could go down between now and the season opener, but yeah, I think Keefe has pretty good assurances from the Mavs that he's going to be on this team. And barring something unforeseen, I don't think it's really a big story. I think it's mostly just a financial move to not activate that second apron because you don't want to do that, and you certainly don't want to do it to sign Markieff Morris.
Exactly. If you're in the second apron, you better be getting a guy who's a superstar in return to try to trigger that because there are so many restrictions that are placed on you if you're on there. Basically, they're incentivizing teams to basically stay under that at all costs unless you're the Boston Celtics or the Milwaukee Bucks or whoever who are perfectly built and are able to stay under that apron by keeping all their players as well.
Type L for A.J. Lawson, M for Markieff Morris. Who do you want to keep? Let us know in the comment section below. Big Boy 41. Luka hasn't been with the team for their workouts in L.A. or Dallas before training camp. Is there a concern that he isn't around the guys enough? I'll take this first. I don't really think so. He's going to spend time in Europe in the offseason. We know that. Until there's a reason for this to be a story, I don't think there's a reason to turn it into anything. As long as he's there for the start of training camp, I really don't care.
Yeah, agreed. We know he's going to spend a lot of time over in Europe. He basically went over there the week after the finals to prepare for Slovenia's Olympic qualifying. They didn't end up qualifying for the Olympics, but he ended up staying over there. He's had a bunch of different things that he's had to do this summer as well. He took part in Goran Dragic's farewell game in Slovenia.
Went to China for that Jordan brand
exactly.
deal.
So he's been doing a lot of different things, and he's probably just hanging out there as well, enjoying life out in Europe because there's not much better than a European summer. He'll probably be back in the next couple of weeks. He'll certainly be back by the 30th for Media Day. It doesn't concern me too much. I mean, he obviously is the leader of this team, and you'd like him to be around the team as much as possible, but I'm not super worried or concerned that because he's not around the team in the summer that there's, a beef going on or something like that.
Yeah, look, there's a couple new guys to integrate with, but this is a tight-knit group. Like, it'd be one thing if it was the year before and it was just a disaster and he's
he just wanted
not
to stay
communicating
away.
And staying away, but I think the continuity here is pretty good, so I'm not too worried about it. Plus, Kyrie's been around the guys. He can kind of serve in that role in the offseason, so I'm not too concerned there. You guys should be concerned if you don't have the Price Picks app.
Indeed.
Because you're just missing out on fun and an opportunity to make some money. PricePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS is how you get a $50 bonus when you place an initial $5 entry. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, you're going to get $50. And we got a little football action here. 3-player entry. They got a deal in the month of September, more or less, half a passing yard for Caleb Williams. You get the more there. Already halfway home if you do a 2-player entry. We got it with a 3-player entry here. Danny Jones, more like Danny Penny's there, less than 209.5 passing yards, and then more than on the Terry McLaurin receiving yards there. 10 to win 50 on that 3-player entry. Again, if you just play for $5, you get the additional 50 with code CLNS. The way Prize Picks works is just like that. 2 to 6 player entries. Choose more, choose less, make money, and go ahead and check it out today. Go create an account right now. Link is in the comments and in the description. Trenton Baker, why are we not talking about the fact that Klay Thompson is a cooked product?
Is he cooked?
I don't think he's cooked.
I think he's a little past his prime, and obviously the injuries are a concern, but I definitely don't think he's cooked at all. Is he the perennial all-star that he was back in the late 2010s? No, he's not. He's still an elite shooter, though, and all he has to do is shoot on this team. He's going to be the third option on offense. He's going to sit in the corner. Luka and Kyrie are going to find him, and he's going to shoot at a very high clip.
Be a marksman from downtown and try to not be the worst defender in the league. I mean,
exactly.
I don't even think he has to be average defensively. If he's a tick below average, I think you can overcome that with his floor spacing, with his shooting. I mean, you lost the finals because they keyed in on Luka. Kyrie had a bad series, and you couldn't make shots.
Yep.
So you need someone who could help take the pressure off and knock down some of those shots. In theory, Klay Thompson's a perfect fit for that. Even if some of his athletic traits and game is diminished, he's not going to forget how to shoot a basketball. I think he's going to be just fine, and I think he's going to be a good fit next to Luka and Kyrie this year.
And even if, while you guys get your Y for yeses or N for nos, and if you think Klay is washed up or not, even if Klay isn't the same guy he once was, that's okay. The Mavs don't need him to be that guy because they have Luka and they have Kyrie, who are still going to be the guys that are running the offense and running the show. You don't need him. You don't need Klay to be the best player on defense either. He's just going to be the role player that the Mavs desperately need, and they got him at a very affordable price of $3 years and $50 million.
That's the thing, too. It's like, even if this goes as poorly as possible, it's not going to cripple you. Like, is it a setback? Sure, because then you got to figure out who's your third scorer, how do you fix your rotations, yada, yada, yada. But even if the worst-case scenario popped up, it's less than $17 million a year. Like, that's less than what Tim Hardaway Jr. was making. So I really don't think there's, like, some huge downside here.
Not concerned. I'm very excited to see Klay in a Mavs uniform.
Acrobatic Donnie. I predict the Mavs to get 63 wins in the 1 seed. What is your prediction? 63 is a lot, man. 63 and 19. By the way, quick side note, do you see the Klay Thompson Instagram post?
I did.
Where he was studying. There's a YouTube video that's
he was,
how the Mavs became a champion in
won the
2011 or something, and he had a little notes emoji down there. So he's putting in his homework. But 63 wins, Coop, that's a little rich for my tasting. You do have some veterans on the team that are going to miss some time. I don't expect Klay to play all 82 or Kyrie. They're probably in
Luka.
Or Luka even. If any of those three play 70+, you're pretty happy. Could you win 55, 56? Sure. When's the last – did a team last year win 63? I don't even think that was on the table.
I can't remember what the best record – I think the Celtics did win 64 last year.
64, okay. So – like one team a year does that.
Exactly.
Do the Mavericks have the talent? Maybe, but a lot of their key guys are going to miss some regular season games. I think they're more like a mid-50s win
Look,
team.
Just for reference, the Mavs won 50 games last year, and they had to grind to get there. Now, and obviously they got there with 2 games to spare, but
13 more?
Yeah, a 13-win improvement with this team. I think they're good. I don't think they're that good, so 63 is probably a little ambitious. Could they end up being the 1 seed? I wouldn't rule it out, but if I had to guess right now what seed the Mavs would get, I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, like 3, 4 feels right. I mean, that's kind of what they've been with their good teams with Luka is they're a little up and down. Sometimes they start slow, too.
Always start slow.
And then they win around 50 games. So I think it'll be a little uptick coming off the year last year and with the acquisitions. I think they're somewhere between, 50's the floor if they're healthy and maybe 58's the ceiling. I'd guess 53, 54.
I was going to say, I like 54 as the number.
And that would probably get you the 3rd or 4th seed in the Western Conference. So we'll see how it plays out. Let us know what seed you think the Mavs will get. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Later.